Come on, what's with that attitude? You could at least cooperate for the New Year's celebration. Don't you think it's embarrassing that we're the only ones without any family around while everyone else's relatives are here?
I was too consumed with unbearable pain to listen to what my husband was saying. Oh, wait a second, my stomach hurts really bad right now. I tried to get the point across, but my husband was not listening.
What? You're probably faking it. You really are a coward.
Please, it really hurts. If I have to go to the hospital, I won't be able to take care of our daughter. Come home now.
Seriously, cut it out. I'm telling you not to embarrass me in front of the relatives. Don't embarrass me, just suck it up if your stomach hurts.
My husband yelled and then hung up the phone. Exhausted from dealing with him, I sank into a chair only to feel a growing wetness in my lower body. Oh no! My water just broke. I tried to move but was paralyzed by increasing pain. I have to deal with the water breaking, but what about my daughter? I was pondering this when my daughter walked into the room concerned. What's wrong, Mom? My name is Jennifer, a 35-year-old office worker. I live with my husband, John, also an office worker, and our third-grade daughter, Sarah. I had my daughter when I was 24 and haven't been pregnant since, so I thought I wouldn't have another child. However, I'm pregnant again after 9 years and due this January. As unexpected as this timing is, it's a joyful event that makes my heart race. My daughter is also beyond excited to have a new sibling. Sarah will help out, she says it with such joy. But there is one person who's not thrilled about this pregnancy. My husband, John. I'm currently on maternity leave, and while I'm at home, he can't help but make snide comments about how I'm not making money yet still costing him. Excuse me? Whose child does he think this is? I'm pregnant with your baby. I'm on paid leave. I hold back from saying anything, otherwise his pride gets triggered and he becomes furious. So I'm brushing off the sarcastic remarks from my husband, but lately, my daughter has been stepping in to respond in my place. Taking after someone, my daughter is quite the eloquent speaker, and my husband is being out-talked by our 9-year-old daughter. Mom's taking time off to have a baby, she says. Dad, you have no idea how hard childbirth is. You should be supporting her. Mom has been doing housework even while pregnant. Why can't you say such terrible things to Mom, Dad? Whenever she hits him with logic, he flushes red and retreats to his room. Thanks to her, I have been spared from John's nagging, which has been a relief. Sarah has even been reading books on pregnancy and childbirth, educating herself on the topic. I am so proud of how smart she's becoming. Still, it feels wrong to let our daughter witness our marital disputes. Of course, she would prefer if her parents got along. While I'm glad she's on my side, I can't shake off the guilt about John, who's usually out working, so I make sure to at least do all the housework flawlessly. In the midst of all this, an incident that would spark major tension arose. My husband loves his family home. He goes back for Thanksgiving and New Year's celebrations and pretty much any other occasion. I would be fine if he went alone, but he always insists I come along.
It's your duty as my wife. Don't embarrass me. The whole family is there.
He would say stuff like this, dismissing my feelings, and drag me along. It's a 6-hour drive to his parents' house, so a day trip is out of the question. We have to stay overnight. His family has even said to me, we understand it's a lot, so just come for Thanksgiving and New Year's. But my husband would counter,
don't you care about my family?
Why do we have to go every time? Even your mom understands. And isn't it a bit too much? Even when I say this, he argues.
It's where I grew up. Showing up with my wife and kids is how I honor my parents. Are you trying to get in the way of that?
This kind of disagreement happened a lot. In fact, when our daughter was born, I had complications and fainted at his family home, ending up in the hospital. Even so, he insists we should go back for the next New Year's celebration. No matter what happens, I want to stay home this time, I plead.
It's not like pregnancy is a sickness. There's no reason to worry, he says. You didn't end up in the hospital this time, right? So it's fine. So, are you using pregnancy as an excuse because you really just don't want to go?
He keeps making these baffling statements. Riding in a car for 6 hours while pregnant is just out of the question. I would rather rest at home, especially given what happened last time. I was lucky I didn't have to be hospitalized. Please, listen to me. You're the only one I can rely on if anything happens. Can you just stay home for New Year's this year? Despite my plea, my husband only got angrier, his face turning red.
You just don't want to go to my parents' house, do you? There's no reason to worry. You have been seeing the doctor regularly.
I never said I didn't want to go. I'm genuinely concerned.
Fine, then you talk to my family about it.
With that, he started dialing his parents' house. He handed me the mobile phone. Reluctantly, I took the phone and William, John's brother, answered. William and his wife live with John's parents. In fact, I think it's unnecessary for us to make frequent visits when William and his family are already there.
Hello, John.
William, sorry, it's Jennifer?
Oh, it's you, Jennifer. What's up?
William, I'm sorry, but we would like to stay home for the New Year celebration. Our due date is around that time. Hearing that, William replied,
Oh, I understand. Of course, that's fine. You're going through a lot right now. There is no need to make a special trip for family gatherings.
His words, please take care of yourself, made me tear up. William continued with kind words.
We should have been more considerate last time. I'm sorry. We should have stopped you from coming in the first place, considering your condition.
No, it was my fault.
Don't say that, Jennifer. You're the one who is going through the most. It's only natural for everyone to be considerate of you. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help. We are just as happy to have a new addition to the family, you know?
What a great brother-in-law he is. I ended up venting about my husband. My husband insists on going back to his parents' house for the New Year celebration. Even when I say I'm worried because the baby could arrive any moment, he dismisses me by saying it'll be fine since I'm not hospitalized. He even got angry with me, asking if I'm not interested in respecting his parents. Choking back tears as I explained to my brother-in-law, he asked,
Can you put John on speaker? What's up, William? John, you're planning on taking Jennifer to your parents' house for the New Year celebration, right? Yeah, I am, and yet Jennifer is being stubborn and doesn't want to go. Do you even understand why Jennifer doesn't want to go to your parents' house? Huh? It's probably because she finds it awkward at my parents' place, isn't it? She's just being selfish.
My husband's rude remark angered my brother-in-law.
Have you forgotten what happened last time? What will you do if the same thing happens again? When Jennifer collapsed and was hospitalized, we were genuinely worried. We were relieved that nothing serious happened. Do you think it's fine this time? Are you a doctor? The symptoms Jennifer was diagnosed with last time could be life-threatening for both her and the baby. How would you take responsibility if something happened to Jennifer or the baby, and you say it's okay to go, but that's a 6-hour drive? What if Jennifer suddenly falls ill and loses consciousness on the highway? How many minutes would it take for an ambulance to get there? Are you really thinking about Jennifer and the baby's safety? Even a child knows what's more important between a family visit and the birth of your child.
Finally, my husband calmed down after hearing all this from my brother-in-law. My husband's face turns pale. Seriously, he's a terrible husband if he doesn't understand the gravity of the situation until I spell it out for him. Then my brother-in-law graciously says,
I'm really sorry for the trouble my brother has caused you. I apologize on his behalf. Please enjoy the New Year at home. I'll let the rest of the family know.
My husband mumbles,
William worries too much.
With an uncomfortable look on his face. From now on, I'll consult my brother-in-law before listening to my husband. Thanks to my brother-in-law's stern words, I was able to relax at the beginning of December despite the pre-birth drama. But as the end of the month approaches, my husband starts complaining about not being able to go to his parents' house. Finally, New Year's Eve arrives. I have finished cleaning the house and preparing for the New Year celebration. I was relaxing with my daughter when my husband says,
I need to buy something. I'll be back.
And drives off around 3 p.m. And then night falls with no sign of him returning. I call him, but he doesn't answer. I have no choice but to eat dinner and watch the ball drop with my daughter. What on earth is going on? I wonder this in the back of my mind as we watch the Countdown concert on TV and ring in a peaceful New Year's Eve with laughter. The next day, despite the New Year arriving, he still hasn't returned in the morning. I wish he would at least get in touch. It's worrying when there is no news from him. Although there is no snow in our area, there's still a chance he could be in an accident. Feeling uneasy, my daughter and I nibble on the New Year's feast. After finishing our meal, I was relaxing when my husband called. It sounded chaotic in the background.
Hey, you should come over too.
Wait, what are you talking about? Where?
It's my parents' house, duh.
Seriously?
Everyone's here having a drink, so hurry up.
Turns out he was at his parents' house for New Year's Eve. Wait, you told me you were going out to get groceries. Was that a lie?
I don't know, but I'll eat your share if you don't show up.
He was clearly drunk. Despite my previous appeals, nothing had gotten through to him. My daughter looked on concerned. Fearing a fight, I took the call into another room. Listen, ask William or someone else to take you home. Just as I said that, a sudden pain struck me. Regardless, my husband's tone became increasingly irritated.
What's with that attitude? I've been putting up with your whims this whole time. Cooperate for the New Year celebration at least.
I had asked him to hold off just for the New Year celebration. It's not like he had cooperated with anything before.
It's embarrassing if we're the only ones not present when all the relatives are there.
He went on and on about that, but my attention was consumed by excruciating pain. Oh, wait a second. My stomach hurts really bad. The pain is getting worse. I tried to explain, but my husband was not willing to listen.
Really? You're probably faking it. You're such a coward.
Please, it's really hurting. If I get hospitalized, I won't be able to take care of our daughter. Come home now.
Enough is enough. I told you not to embarrass me in front of my relatives. Don't drag my name through the mud. If your stomach hurts, suck it up.
My husband yelled over the phone and then the call disconnected. Drained from the conversation with my husband, I slumped into a chair. That's when I felt it. A sudden wet sensation down below. Oh no. My water broke. I tried to get up, but the pain intensified, making it impossible to move. I have to clean up after my water breaking, but what about Sarah, our daughter? Fighting through the pain and lost in thought, Sarah walked into the room worried. Mom, where's Dad? Sorry, Sarah, can you come here first? What, Mom, what's wrong? Sarah, can you call an ambulance with this phone? Frozen by pain, all I could do was ask for her help. Sarah looked panicked, unsure of what to do. I realized I had never taught her how to call an emergency line. I had to tell her how to do it while I'm still conscious. Just then, Sarah said, I'm going to get the neighbor. And she dashed out of the house. After a minute, our neighbor arrived. Sarah knew she couldn't handle it and immediately called an adult for help. Jennifer, are you okay? I'm calling an ambulance right now. Our neighbor did just that, and in that moment, I was grateful for having such a supportive community. Sarah held my hand and rubbed my back until the ambulance arrived. During the ride, our neighbor contacted my parents. Finally, the ambulance got there. I gave birth later that day. The next day, both parents arrived at the hospital. It's a healthy baby boy born a bit early. Tried reaching out to my husband but couldn't get through. He never showed up. He finally comes on January 3rd, brought by my brother-in-law. Brother-in-law apologized to me even though it wasn't his fault.
Sorry, we're late bringing my brother here, he says. He had his phone off since New Year's and didn't realize you were going through all this.
Brother-in-law is apologizing while the person who should be apologizing is sulking beside him. Turns out my dad had been trying to call my husband's cell but couldn't get through, so he finally reached him on our home phone. William, I appreciate you coming, but I don't want to see my husband right now. I'm even considering divorce, I say. At this, my previously sullen husband looks up, eyes wide.
What? You're getting too full of yourself. Who do you think you are talking about divorce?
Brother-in-law is stunned.
Hey, John, what are you saying?
But my husband keeps insulting me.
She's just being dramatic. She probably just wants us to worry about her.
Just then, the door to the hospital room opens.
What's going on here?
It's my dad, Thomas.
Oh, Thomas?
My husband looks shaken at his arrival. Dad had just taken my daughter out for lunch.
John, is this how you speak to my daughter regularly? I mean, answer me clearly.
My husband straightens up at my father's angry voice.
You accused her of faking it while she was in so much pain? Her water broke. Can you still say that looking at Jennifer now? Enough. She'll be recuperating at my house for a while, and you are not seeing her or the baby until further notice, understand? So you get it now?
Seems like my husband finally understood the mess he's made.
What's gonna happen when I'm at work? Who's gonna take care of me?
I take that back. He's still as useless as ever.
Take care of yourself. Our daughter managed to work and handle house chores before going on maternity leave, didn't she? If you're an adult, act like one.
My father shouted. My husband still had more complaints, but my brother-in-law intervened.
I'm really sorry for my brother's actions. Congratulations on the new arrival. Please accept this gift, even though it's late and not much.
My brother-in-law handed us a generous baby gift and then left, taking my husband with him. Dad, I'm really sorry for causing you trouble.
When he came to ask for your hand in marriage, I thought he was a more reliable man.
After that, I took some time to recover at my parents' home. Good thing my daughter was on winter break. After about 2 weeks, my dad and I went back to the home where my husband was. We left our new baby and daughter with my mom. Finally, face to face with my husband, the house was just as I had feared, dirty and dusty. He had been living off fast food. The empty boxes filled multiple trash bags. My father and I sat down with him in the living room. I'll get straight to the point. I want a divorce. I pushed the divorce papers towards him.
You serious about divorce?
You can't even say thank you or well done for giving birth.
Well, you're a mom. Isn't giving birth just part of the job?
My husband spat out the words almost immediately after the conversation began. My father's face grew increasingly stern. My husband continued to spout nonsense.
I just found out it's a boy. Well, then I don't want a divorce. I've always wanted a son. I'll raise him to be a baseball player. You know, Ichiro became a huge star practicing with his dad. I want to do that kind of stuff.
I was so dumbfounded I couldn't even speak. What does he think his own children are? Ichiro's father never saw his son as a cash cow, unlike you. Unable to stand our silence any longer, the living room door burst open. I tried to wait until the right moment to intervene, but I can't stand this anymore. In came mother-in-law. My husband was shocked by her sudden entrance. John, get a grip. Who do you think enables you to go to work stress-free? Who's taking care of the kids instead of you? Who's cooking every day? Do you have any idea who keeps this household running? It's all thanks to Jennifer. In fact, this house falls apart when Jennifer gone for just 2 weeks. You're sorely lacking in gratitude. Realize how blessed you have been. No more troubling Jennifer. Divorce is the only option. Mother-in-law yelled and my husband cowered and finally signed the divorce papers. And so my divorce was finalized. Through my lawyer, I secured child support payments for both my daughter and son. As for my ex-husband, he was forcefully taken back to his parents' house and is now being put to work by his parents and brother-in-law. He's apparently complaining daily about wanting to escape. How ironic that a man who used to love going home is now saying the exact opposite. Meanwhile, I have successfully returned to work after maternity and parental leave. Thanks to my in-laws' consideration, I got to keep the house I had been living in with my ex-husband as part of the property settlement. I am genuinely grateful for the kindness of my in-laws who didn't want to make my daughter feel lonely by transferring schools. As for my daughter, she has had enough of her dad and promptly refused to see him after the divorce. I have no intention of letting my son see him either. I'll let his family work on straightening out his twisted personality. If the day ever comes when he changes his ways and the kids want to see him, I might consider it, but the day might never come. No matter what, I'm committed to raising my children to be responsible individuals. I'll continue to work hard every day, all for you, my precious ones.